Scarlett, issue number 1. That's right, folks. We're into the next wave of the Energon Universe books. We just had Duke and Cobra Commander, and I'm sure we're going to see those characters again. Maybe they'll even appear in these upcoming books, Scarlett and Destro. But it's Scarlett time, everybody. Shana O'Hara, she is here. And makes sense. Our first one of these books to be led by a female character, which is very exciting. And it makes sense that it's Scarlett. I do like it more than just doing like Snake Eyes, because we could kind of put her into like that world, and we actually do in this book. Like, we have dealt with the Mars industry stuff and just like the basic militant nature of like Duke and that side of things. Let's go deep into like the mountains of the Arishikage, and we'll get right into it with those characters. And we can do that with Scarlett. Why not? This is from Kelly Thompson, who is a great writer. I love her work so much. I'm glad she's doing something like this too. She's had some tenured books on other female characters, which is really cool to see. So let's see what you got for Scarlett. You can do something fun with this character, and I think you're gonna. This feels very in vain to what she did on Black Widow a few years ago, which is a book I really liked. So that's something really cool to see. So we open up this book, and we're in Monaco, and we see it's just opening up like a spy book. And Scarlett emerges from the waters. She like changes out of like her swimwear into like a nice dress, and she's got glasses on, and she's got a gun, and she's just doing like some recon at some big swanky event. There's somebody selling a bunch of like arms. It's just like, you know, we're going to a fancy estate. There's an arms trade going on, and people are selling dangerous guns. That is just G.I. Joe. There's a buyer there called Bartleby. He's going to buy the guns. But as she is doing recon, she runs into someone she knows. A woman named Jinx. And Jinx is revealed in a swanky little dress with a big tattoo on her arm, looking like Jinx. And seeing this woman throws Scarlett off her game. She loses focus for a minute. She realizes that Jinx did see her. And as she's continuing on this mission, more stuff is happening of Jinx. Like, she's met up with a couple of people who are armed. They have like swords and brass knuckles, and they go into like a back room, and they find a bunch of like women who are being trafficked and sold off. So we see Jinx is rescuing one in particular young lady, and because Scarlett is just a woman of action, she's not going to let this happen, even though her orders that are literally coming through her headset are like, do not engage, do not interact. She just goes in and does the fight anyway, which is very Kelly Thompson. Just somebody like, yeah, okay, whatever, I'm just going to do the thing anyways. It's like the subtle, dry humor that she's known for. You love to see it. I also like she picks up like her iconic weapon for a minute, shoots a crossbow, and kills some people with it. That's really cool. But then she just starts to like follow Jinx. Like, what is she doing here? It makes no sense. She actually like saves Jinx from being shot. And Jinx is like, okay, interesting. So they save like a young lady, and it just kind of throws her off her game. Like, what is Jinx doing here? I haven't seen her in a long time. And, you know, she saved the day, but at what cost? Because back in Washington, like, her boss, a guy named, is it General Gorman? I don't know. He's just some military guy's like, what do you think you're doing? I told you not to engage. You caused some bullshit going on, an international incident. It's going to take weeks to fix this. And she's like, whatever, okay? I bet those women are happy that they're saved and not being trafficked right now, you lunatic man. He's like, I'm not renewing your contract. Get out of here. So she leaves and she heads home, but she notices something is off. Like, the tape she put on the door was broken. It's a little too obvious to be Jinx, so she realizes it's somebody else. And who's waiting for her inside her building? It's Sergeant Stalker, who we saw in the Duke book. And he's like, hey, yeah, I mean, I saw the report you filled out talking about the incident that just happened with you and Jinx, and I realized that Gorman's a dumbass and he missed some of like the easy symbols that you were talking about. And this is where we kind of get a little bit of like the backstory to Scarlett and Jinx. They are two characters that have worked together who know each other. And the way Scarlett talks, I'm just going to throw this out there, and I do think it's intentional. I'm just going to put it out there. It does have like unrequited love vibes, or just like sexual tension between the two of them. The way Scarlett like just feels broken. She sees this girl for the first time in a long time, and she's just like, whoa, just loses sight of everything. she's trying to say like she was like a sister to me, but it's more than that, obviously. And then we have like a flashback to the two of them just chilling at the house, just talking like, what are we going to do? We're going to like pretend to be archers and stuff and set up some stuff to practice our spy moves and everything. Just two cool babes having a great time. I'm liking it. It's really fun. Like, this is an idea. And the more intimate you make it, the more it works for the comic book, as opposed to just doing like a G.I. Joe thing where there's just like a million characters. This makes more sense to me. So Sergeant Stalker asks, like, what are the symbols that we're seeing throughout this piece? They are symbols that Jinx left for Scarlett, because it's something that the two of them made while they were friends. It's like a coded message saying, don't follow me. Only she'd be able to recognize it. So there's something else going on there. And it has to do with the Arishikage. What is that? What is it? What could it be? You know, there's something going on there that Sergeant Stalker and his people want to find. They want to use Scarlett to get into that situation, because obviously there's somebody there that she knows, so it could be easier to figure out that whole situation. I think that's kind of cool. Like, you could have easily, I know it's so lazy, but you could have easily just done this type of story with Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. And I really like that we had a writer who's like, why don't we do like that tension, the ninja and spy elements mixing together with Scarlett and Jinx. That's a really cool idea that not a lot of people would do. So we're going to get Scarlett in there. We have to get her to the mountains, and it's like an easy job, but it's going to be a small covert operation. The only other person you're going to have working with you, Scarlett, is going to be Harlan Moore or Snow Job. He's like, hey, there you go. Somebody from her past, so she knows him, and Jinx knows him too. But he's just got like a big bushy beard. He's going to drop her down. And we're doing all the spy stuff. We just emerged from the water into like a nice event in the beginning of the book. And now we're jumping out of a helicopter and we're skiing down the side of a mountain to sneak into a base. Like, come on, that's awesome. That's awesome. And then we see another flashback of Scarlett and Jinx like making their secret language and their codes that other people would know. They draw like a rabbit and they think like it should mean like peace or something. She's like, no, that should mean look. It's so obvious, but it's something that only we'd think about, because we're just two nerds making our own language when we do covert stuff. You're like, that's kind of cool. So then Scarlett like beats up some ninjas and sneaks into the base, but she's not really sneaking in because they spot her the very minute she stepped there. And that's pretty dang cool. But she notices Jinx is standing there. She's like, she looks good. Like, she looks really good. She's like, no. Okay, don't think like that right now. We have too many things to do to think about how good Jinx looks right now. So I'm like, that's interesting. Okay. I like that. The scorn lover angle. It's a little bit different than what we're used to seeing with these characters, if that's what we're doing, which I do think it is. So she jumps down to the base, like has her sword ready, and then she fights a couple ninjas. Pretty cool. Looks great. Fun style artwork. If you read any of like Kelly Thompson's stuff, like she really likes to do like splash pages where it's multiple perspectives of the character doing a certain thing. And that's what this book is too. That's what Black Widow was. That's what this is. And it's really fun to see that. So she eventually like defeats the ninjas that are fighting her. And like the Grandmaster who's doing like the whole ceremony, he's like, all right, let's just hear her out. She's like, I've come with an offer. Gets on her knees, holds up the sword. He's like, okay, what's your offer? We then cut back to see her conversation with Stalker. And he's like, it's a simple mission, okay? You're not the only one looking for Jinx. Because we know she is there and because she reached out to you, we now know that there's something else with the clan Arishikage that we can get into. There's a weapon there we have to obtain. Now, what is the weapon? We don't explicitly say. Could be anything. Maybe it's a person. Maybe it's a sword. Maybe it's a certain energy thing. Whatever. But because Jinx reached out to you, even in the coded message, we know there's somebody on the inside there. And we have to get our person out. Who is the person that we have to get out? Is it Jinx? Is it Snake Eyes? I guess we'll find out in the next issue. But essentially there's a weapon there that Scarlett's also going to have to get for Stalker while figuring out things with her friend. So that's what we're doing there. So in the present, Scarlett's like, I offer myself. I would like to join your, clan. And they're not taking the bait because they're like, this is stupid. And that's when, like, the back of a sword comes down and hits Scarlett in the back of the head. And we see that the person that hit Scarlett is Storm Shadow. And he's like, of course, Hardmaster, I serve to live, or I live to serve, whatever. Storm Shadow, there you go. Makes sense to me. And that's where the book ends, with a big reveal of probably your second favorite G.I. Joe character. It's really cool. You know, I had a great time with this. It's really fun spy stuff. It's stuff Kelly Thompson knows how to do well. And giving us perspective on a character where we don't normally get it. That's what I love to see. That's what I'm here for. So actually trying that here, I'm all for it. It's doing something wholly original. That's always a blast to see. So, Scarlett, issue number 1, I am going to give an 8 out of 10. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.